Okay, we are streaming. Okay. Do you want... We are streaming on YouTube.
Sweet. Just want to check a few things before we start the podcast proper.
Okay. Okay, what do you want the title to be?
Just Melodies live. Here, I'll just send it to you in
Okay.
the same format that I use, but
Yeah, I guess so I don't mess it up. Okay.
I know one time we had an episode at the beginning of July, and I initially put June 5th instead of July 5th.
I can imagine.
Fixed it in the archive.
I see, now I have to figure out how the heck I access chat while I'm on a call. There we go. Okay. I should really grab my mouse, but... Okay. Do you want to deal with the description, or are you good?
Just, use the description I sent a couple weeks ago, last month, on Skype.
Okay, let me see what I can... Oh, crap, I opened OBS again. Chat, no, chat. Okay, I just hit the chat, I don't need it. Okay. Perfect. Copy. Paste. Okay, sweet.
Could you send me the link to the live stream?
Are you on the stream right now?
Well, I'm not seeing it on YouTube, on my YouTube.
Okay.
On the subscriptions area, it says you're live, but I'm not seeing it on the channel.
Well, someone is watching, so.
Yay!
Hello.
It might
Hello.
be you. Might
Yeah.
be an awesome person.
It didn't say that beforehand, so cool.
Could you send me the link to the live stream? I'm gonna put it on Facebook. I'm gonna advertise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I can find it.
Yeah, we're about to go live with Maniacal Melodies. Just a quick moment.
Yeah.
Hyped.
Yes. If I can. Jeez. This should not be as hard as it's making it. If I can. Oh, this is gonna be weird. I'm on my own stream right now. This is gonna be a delay. This should not be as hard as it's making it. If I can.
You're hearing double
this is gonna be weird.
double
I'm
the
on my own
Anthony.
stream right now. Stop. This should not be as hard as it's making it.
You're hearing double
double
Anthony.
Stop.
You're hearing double Anthony.
Stop. Oh god, we are entering a loop now.
You're hearing double
Anthony. Stop.
Are you okay?
Oh god, we are entering a loop now. I just need to copy it. That's what I need to do right now. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh god, we are entering a loop now. Okay, I think we're getting out of the loop. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh god, we are entering a loop now. Okay, I think we're getting out of the loop. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh god, we are entering. Okay, I closed the link. Okay, I think we survived. We survived.
Yeah.
Oh.
You okay?
That was so much worse than I thought it would be. Because I forgot that I'm using my computer audio to record you. So it just kept going. Okay. Okay, we lost our one viewer, but oh well. At least we got something.
You okay? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right.
Are you watching, Jeffrey?
God
Sorry,
damn! Come on,
sorry.
I was just about to
I'm
start, man.
sorry. I am so sorry. I am so. Oh, that was such an unnecessary question, and it literally the worst timing. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I'm used to having false starts.
Okay.
I should tell you, dude. When I interviewed Andrew Sermani last week, I started off with the intro, and then I started to introduce him, and then I forgot what company he worked for.
Oh
It's like
God.
Sermani something
Oh
business. It's like
dear
I'm like,
God.
okay, I'm just gonna restart it. There we go. I know
Okay.
he was perfectly fine with it. It was all good, but so no, you're fine. This has happened many times before. I'm used to it.
Okay.
It's all good. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maniacal Melodies. I'm your host, Jeffrey White, and we are here live on Channel 1138 for this weekly music podcast. And joining me is my co-host, Anthony Perkins. Welcome to Maniacal Melodies.
I'm finally back. I finally returned, and I survived the East Coast. So.
Yeah, what have you been doing, man? What's been going on?
Oh, I've been very stressed out about the decision on whether or not to move into my dorm, and then making that decision and realizing that my life is going to be very difficult for the next few months. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. And now, of course, getting everything ready to have a mostly online experience on campus. So,
Yeah, so I want to talk specifically about concert band. So what or just band in general, marching band too. Like, do you have any more clear details of what's going on with it with your band this fall?
Okay, so marching band. I don't even know. I don't know how much you know. I'm just gonna. I think a lot of the rumors have become official now. So, there's going to be 3 mini prides. So they're gonna split us up to like pep band sized ensembles. That way, that if anyone, heaven forbid, gets exposed to the virus, they can quarantine that pride, and then they can continue going on.
Yeah.
And then there will be no on-field show. No marching band is permitted to be on the field.
Wow.
So I'll be in the stands playing. It's gonna be weird. It's as far and the 2 hours ago there was an article that came out that makes it sound like college football might not be happening, but there's also a lot of movement. Right, there's a big movement within the college football space. The biggest star in college football right now, Trevor Lawrence, who's from Clemson, is really behind the hashtag Let Us Play movement, which is basically just the players saying that, hey, this football is especially for college kids. So many people are coming from really rough backgrounds, like that. It's probably safer for them to be on campus than for them to be in some of their homes, depending on what situation they live in. So it's really
So what's your opinion, just as Anthony Perkins, a clarinet player? Like, are you like itching to play marching band pep tunes, stand tunes?
Oh no, I'm really excited to do it, and honestly,
Yeah.
I haven't really done much to consider. I mean, the other thing too is they've even said if there's no football, there will be some form of pep band, whether that's we play.
That's awesome.
We play on the mall, or we make recordings or something, or we're just sort of around doing stuff. So even then, I don't really see myself being like, oh crap, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But so that's that. As far as ensembles go, there's a lot that I don't know. I did have correspondence, which is good, because I hadn't gotten any correspondence since.
That's the worst thing you would want to have is like no communication.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying this was good communication. I'm saying this was communication.
Yeah.
No offense to whoever sent that email, but it wasn't necessarily the most descriptive, detailed email. I don't know. I have some problems with it, but basically they sent out a Google form, and there were 4 options that they sent out, and that was that that was, and there were different levels of in person, but it looks but all of them were forms of small ensemble. So they were all like chamber ensemble, that sort of thing. And the most open would be like regular rehearsals for chamber ensembles with distance and usually rehearsing outside and that sort of thing. And the most closed off would be something. I think one of them was like something that didn't have any sort of musical participation. It was just like mock auditions and like history stuff and like master classes and stuff like that. And then there was another one that actually intrigued me that was you would like send in recordings of stuff, and it would be like we'd have people like call and write music for chamber groups. So I think that one really intrigued me, and I honestly would really like that one because I don't have very much experience with chamber music. I did it once for a summer camp, and that experience was, wow, this is really, really hard, but it's so much fun. Like it's a different experience because when it's chamber music, so you're the only person playing your part, so there is no one there to save you. If you miscount your rhythm, which is what usually happened with me, or if you completely screw something up or something like that, that's all on you. There's nobody that's going to save you. But you also get all these opportunities to the point where you're the only person playing your part, so you only have to worry about your part meshing with everything else, and you get to bring out every moving line, and you just get every part you have is a solo. It's just so much fun. So I'm honestly kind of excited for that. And I mean, I've been in a lot of really big wind symphony, wind ensembles. I've been in a lot of those. I've only been in a couple, I guess technically only one chamber group. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna make the most of it, and I'd love to play more stuff written by U of A composers, because I always love that experience.
And again, Colin's really good. It's referring to Colin, the clarinet player, right?
Yeah.
I had him on this very podcast at the end of April, and yeah, he's very passionate about what he does. Great musician, awesome.
Yeah, he's really, really good. And I
God, he's a senior now. Oh my God.
Yeah, he is a senior. There's because he did the Soda Concourse competition for us. If they got it out a little bit earlier, I would have entered in it, but it was just too much for me. I just couldn't do it. But I did practice it. I did print it out, and I was like, this is really cool. It's different. It's that perfect line for me of contemporary music where it's not like dumb. It has melodic structure. It has, I don't want to say dumb. It's not like too over everyone's head. It's not just noises. It's not too abstract. There's proper melodies and structure. It's just a little wonky here and there. There's some weird time signatures. There's some interesting choices here with some of the melodies. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So are you excited for concert band? Like, do you feel like, what exactly are they doing for concert band this fall?
Well, that's the thing, is there isn't going to be like a proper concert band. It's just going to be splitting up into chamber groups.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So y'all are still meeting in person?
That we don't know yet. So.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what they surveyed out, is like they took a survey to be like, who's comfortable with what, and what would you choose if you had those four options, and they were just varied versions of chamber groups. So it's all going to be chamber for sure.
Yeah. So let me tell you, Anthony, I am practicing for an audition for Cal State Northridge's concert bands.
Oh, sweet.
I'm going to see if maybe I'm good enough to get into a band. Yeah. It's interesting. So what they're doing, they're also splitting into like little mini bands, as they call it, probably chamber-sized groups. Mm. But here's what's interesting, dude. They will allow people to so the audition itself is virtual, so you just record a video of you playing the excerpts.
Yeah, ours are that way too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But because CSUN, because the university is completely or for mostly online this fall, they will allow they will be doing virtual rehearsals. That part's still sort of in flux, but the gist is, for someone like me who's staying in Arizona this fall, they will allow me to play my clarinet on some virtual live stream thingy don't know the details about how that's going to work. I have to pass the audition first.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't been playing the clarinet very much throughout the past few months, but I'm finally playing again in the past week or two, which is awesome. And yeah, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. And yeah, I hope I pass the audition and make it into a band. I really want to return to band. I forgot how much I love band, because back in March I was just so distraught by all the performances that were canceled, all the performances that I was going to do, but obviously didn't do. Like, dude, like our first Wind Symphony concert was supposed to be right after spring break, you know?
Yeah, that was.
But
I wasn't even thinking about Wind Symphony, because again, since I've told the story before on the podcast, is like my experience with coronavirus, with the outbreak, was, I mean, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was so focused on like how this affected sports and how this affected pep band that I completely forgot about. I forgot about the concert for concert band. So
for concert band, yeah.
It was just ridiculous. Also, speaking on the audition thing, that's the thing that I have a bit of a gripe with. Is they said in an email that was a few days ago that more information and the link to post your auditions will be released soon. I think that was the phrasing. Will be released soon. So I don't know where. I have no idea when. Also, it's going to be due on the 19th. So I'm moving out on the 15th. So that only gives me a few days to figure this out, because I really don't want to record it at the university, because I don't know what the situation with practice rooms or being able to do it in my dorm or whatever is going to be able, where I would possibly be able to record something like that. So
yeah.
So I definitely, if at all possible, I want to get it done here. But the problem is I can't even record it early if I wanted to, because I don't know the terms. I don't know if it all needs to be in one take. I don't know what order I need to go into. I don't know if I need to play any scales along with it. I don't know what file format it needs to be. I don't know if I need to, I don't know what at all I'm supposed to be doing. I know the excerpts. I've had the excerpt for months, but I don't know about anything else with this new format, so that I'm really, really looking for that email.
Well, the good news is I do know, like in the audition packet, for me, they let you know, okay, it should be this type of file. Make sure to, like, they were very detailed. Like at the beginning of the recording, say who you are, instrument, and what year you are. Just, it's very detailed with the requirements, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, the issue with ours was that we got our audition music months ago, so we had no idea if it was going to be live auditions or online auditions. And since we are going back to campus, there is, or at least a lot of us are coming back to some of us are coming back to campus. I have no idea what the ratio is going to end up being, but since some of us are coming back to campus, they had no they just had no idea if it was going to be on, if they could do it in person or not. But so I'm waiting on that. I actually bought a digital piano a few days ago. That was really, really cool. I was struggling last year with my old Casio keyboard that didn't have pressure detection, so I had no musical expression whatsoever. And even though I mentioned that on my final for like my recording, I still think they didn't understand that, to be honest. Like, they were like, well, yes, I know you couldn't. This podcast is gonna turn into me racking on a bunch of U of A faculty.
It's okay. Nobody listens to this. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tune down once we hit it big. I'm gonna start getting some emails. Yeah. The day Shootman sees this podcast is the day that it dies.
He was
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on this podcast before you were, man.
Yeah. No, I mean not. I don't want to be. I mean, for me, the day that I stop is gonna be the day that I start getting worried and stop being honest. But yeah.
And that's why I don't go to U of A anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can talk all you want. You're done.
No, I'm done. I can
Yeah.
say whatever I want.
Yeah. No, but yeah,
But no, I was very grateful. No, I should be clear. I was
no.
very grateful for my time at Wind Symphony and Pride of Arizona, and I'm serious about that. And it sucks that those two things meant a lot to me when I was at U of A, and although having Pride of Arizona just do pep band stuff, that's my favorite part is the pep band stuff, just playing the music. That's what I love the most. So I would. There's a dog in the background. I will say. I like the plan with Pride of Arizona, but I feel bad that y'all have to do all these weird plans and people don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's because I'll bet you, Anthony, that the people who are giving you those vague communications, they don't know what's going on.
Honestly, yeah,
they're figuring this out as much as you are, as much as everyone is.
Yeah, and honestly, I do want to, I do kind of stir things up just for the point of the podcast to make it seem more interesting. But honestly, I could not be more happy with the University of Arizona. Like I love it here. I love it there so goddamn much, and it's just it has been the best decision of my life, and I can't commend that enough. But if you love something, you got to recognize its faults. So there are some things that I don't know. I've had some interesting experiences with in the past. But as I was saying, I did get a digital piano. I got a Roland FP10, and this thing, man.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, going from what I did, something that has no pressure sensitivity whatsoever, to a.
Dude.
I know.
Let me tell you, dude. I got a similar piano last May.
Yeah.
Amazing family gift that it has, because my previous keyboard, it did its job. I used it to practice music theory and piano stuff. It did its job.
Yeah.
But the volume, as you mentioned, it's all the same. All the notes, no matter how you press the keys, it's the same. But then with this new keyboard, like as similar as yours probably is, it has weighted keys. I actually had to think about how I put my fingers on the piano keys. It was funny. Sorry, I'll let you talk in a moment.
Go ahead.
When I had the old keyboard and I would just practice my stuff for piano class, I'd go into piano class, all of a sudden be like, holy crap, I'm really loud. What the heck?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, calm down. But yeah, how do you feel about it?
Oh my gosh. I just going from there, because that's the thing is, honestly, you can do a lot with one volume. It's really interesting. I think it surprises me how much I didn't notice that it was all the same volume. And then the day that I figured that out, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm just messing with a toy at this point. I don't feel like I'm actually making music. You just lose all possible motivation or confidence in yourself that you're actually making something that sounds good. And it just, but then going from that to the Roland, which, oh my god, this thing, it has. So this is going to become a review for this thing. So it retailed. Going into this, I kind of made the decision that and I kind of talked about this with my parents because they were the ones that ultimately bought it for me. But I kind of made the decision that if I'm going, because I want to have something that's, if I'm going to have it pressure sensitive, then it's going to have to be pressure sensitive. So I have to buy a new one. Most keyboards that are pressure sensitive you're going to at least spend about $100. So it's like, okay, then you keep going down the line here. It's like, well, if it's pressure sensitive, then it should have weighted keys so I actually get proper muscle memory. And I was like, well, if it has weighted keys, then it should be fully weighted and not semi-weighted, because at that point you want to have the proper feel. And then when you get to semi-weighted keys, then you're talking $300, $400, $500. So
yeah,
that there's not really much of a middle ground. For fully weighted keyboards, it's really hard. And then I was like, okay, so $500 is my budget. Let's just say that. And I agreed with my parents agreed with that, and they said, but it was the sort of thing is I'm at the point now where this is the last keyboard I will ever need. This is the last keyboard I will ever buy. I don't need to get anything else. And
I mean, honestly, you don't want a piano?
I don't. There's so honestly, again, with this thing, with the way this thing works, how accurately it. it depicts piano tones, and it's just because it has the same onboard sound engine as all the Roland pianos, and which is top in the industry. It has the exact same action, like the feel of the keys is the exact same system as you get in their pianos that cost times the price. And I'm not spending thousands of dollars on a piano. I just don't see the point in it, especially for a keyboard. So it's like, so I get all this stuff, and it's all in that package, and then you compare it to like the offerings from Yamaha or the offerings from Casio or whoever else, and it just blows it out of the park. So it's just like, oh, I was like, and I kind of got to the point where I was like, well, I need this keyboard. It's like the inner like, I'm a very much a research type buyer. Like I love like doing research for products, and I'm a techie guy, so I like tech hardware. I want to build my own PC one day. Like I'm a total gearhead when it comes to clarinet stuff and all this stuff. But I can't turn down such a good value. And it's like, well, if I'm gonna spend $500, I should get the best keyboard I can get for $500. And it was just like, well, yeah, if I'm gonna spend $500, I'm gonna get the best keyboard possible for $500, and I am not gonna let myself buy an inferior product for the same amount of money. I was just like, I just got that idea in my head, and man, that made it really hard to negotiate, because so this thing wasn't available on Amazon. They didn't sell it on Amazon.
Okay.
They don't sell it on Guitar Center. They don't sell it on any like major site. The only sites I saw it on, well, because I eventually was like, okay, I don't want to keep digging for this thing. I can't find anybody that has it. So I ended up calling Sweetwater, which is an audio company, a pretty decent sized one. They did not have the FP10. I would have to have gotten it in September. So I was like, I can't do that. So I got a decent quote for the Yamaha competitor, which is an inferior product. He was going to give me free shipping. He was going to bundle in a stand and a stool, and it was all going to be great. And then I was like, and then I watched a few more reviews and comparisons, and I was like, I can't. I have to get the FP10. I can't. I can't do this. I cannot let myself buy that Yamaha. And again, no discounting to the Yamaha. I'm sure it was a fine keyboard when it first came out, but it is not the same value proposition that the FP10 was. So I was just like, I gotta find it. So I found one retailer that had one. One retailer. It was a retailer out of like the San Francisco area called Bananas at Large, and they had two. I think they got like a shipment of 5 that day, and they already sold the first 3. Like, it was that, and I was like, and I was gonna like haggle with him and all this sort of stuff, and then he was like, yeah, no, we don't have the margins to bring the price down. So it was that, and I ended up having to pay like $95 in shipping, because it's a huge freaking 30-pound package.
And because the price is high, the tax is probably high too, and all that.
I didn't have to pay tax.
Sales tax.
I didn't have to pay tax, but I had to pay $95 shipping, which was a pain in the ass. But other than that, I mean, it was still worth it. Again, this is a keyboard that knocks any key, especially for what I need it for. It knocks out it fights with keyboards that are $1,000. So it's still better than anything you can get for that amount of money. So I was like, okay, it's good. But yeah, no, I got that set up, and again, man, this thing, just the feel, it just feels like I'm playing like utter crap. I'm literally just messing with chords and just getting really dense, fun chords, but you just get this sort of, you put the pedal down and you just get this ambience and this resonance and this just, and you get all those different, it just feels so good. Like, I could literally sit there for hours playing utter nonsense on that thing, and I would just never get sick of it. And I was like, I'm so glad I bought this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I liked the piano more. I don't know. I haven't been playing it very much lately.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting for me, because I'm still not very good. I've gotten to the point where I can create hand shapes, and I'm not like hitting multiple keys, but I'm just sort of experimenting with chords. That's kind of what I just like to do, is just sort of, I can't really play any other style other than this like ambient sort of chordal like kind of melody but not really sort of melody sort of stuff. And I don't know, I'm satisfied with it. I don't feel like playing some ragtime kind of stuff. That's not as satisfying for me. But because the thing that intrigues me about pianos is just how open the chords are. It's just that stuff. It's the meat of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to other styles of playing, but I just, from a music theory standpoint, I just love the idea of just, it's all there. It's literally, if you have enough fingers to play the chord, you can play the chord. There's no fussing around with it, especially for people with monophonic instruments that never get to play chords. It's like, I can do anything. It's like, I can just sort of have like 5 keys down and then be like, okay, what are these notes? Oh, this is a G augmented flat 9 sharp 11. This is really freaking cool sounding. It's like all sorts of stuff like that. It's like, and just experimenting. It's like, I love that stuff. That stuff is so cool to me. So I don't know. That's where I get the enjoyment out of it. And like my parents, the guy was like, play me a song, and I was like, we barely played any stuff in Piano 101, and I don't remember that stuff. That was months ago. So I was just like, no, I'm just gonna freaking play ambient chord stuff and mess with my settings and like put together like vibes and the pad settings, so it sounds really cool. And also there's full app integration with this thing. It has Bluetooth MIDI, which is super cool. It's just so freaking cool. I love that that keyboard so much. I might go and play this thing after this podcast, honestly. And again, I have headphones. That's another thing that's great about keyboard. I can just plug in my headphones, and I don't have to bother anybody. Game could be going on. My mom could be doing cleaning, listening to other music. Put the headphones on. No one has to hear the crunchy chords I'm making.
It doesn't bother them as much as it is playing clarinet.
Well, my parents like. Okay, my mom likes it when I play music. She doesn't like trumpet as much, but she does like having me around when I practice. So I do appreciate that. My dad doesn't complain about it. I don't think he likes it, but that's just the way my dad is. I don't think it bothers him, but I don't think he likes it. So yeah, it's just how it is, you know.
I think that's something that's really cool, and getting a new piano and just messing around with it. Yeah, I got mine right at graduation, which was really awesome.
Yeah. Really
grateful for it. Absolutely. But yeah, what kind of music things have you been up to in the past month or so?
Well,
since we've last heard you.
I mean, other than the piano thing, while I was in New Jersey, I did continue my practicing streak, so I've kept that up. I haven't even really been aiming for an hour anymore. It's just sort of get in as much as you can, sort of thing. Just keep it going. I did a lot of work on the Messenger Solo de Concourse. I worked on the ending of that and sort of was like, okay, let me see how fast I can play this sort of thing, sort of, and really sort of do some. I don't know. If I'm in the mood for it, when you play something that's really fast and really hard, and you have a slow tempo and you work it up, especially if it's something that's very clearly written for your instrument, and the person that wrote it obviously knew what they were doing, and they were like, okay, this is going to be hard, and this is going to be, and it's a contest piece, so it's going to be a little bit stupid, but it's not going to be impossible. It's not going to be like really uncomfortable to play. Like, it's going to lie pretty well in places, especially towards the end here, but we want this to be as fast as you can humanly play it. So it's like, we're going to create the best scenario for that. So the ending of Solo de Concourse, it all, for the most part, lies pretty well on the fingers, but so for stuff like that, it's so fun to start at the slow tempo and just keep going, and it feels so good to be able to just run your way through all those crazy runs and stuff, and just be like, yeah, I did that, and I just, dude, that's some things I love about music so much, is just the progression from one rep to another, the progression from one day to another, 1 month to another. That's why I love marching band so much, is because you go from absolute jack nothing, jack squat, and you go from that to this amazing performance that you can say. I'm getting a lot of background noise, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I know, I know. There's a fan nearby.
Okay, it was just it's okay. It's gone now.
Well, because I turned off the mic, that's why.
Oh, well, it just started to get really loud. So yeah.
Sorry about that, man.
Okay.
It's
Um.
just it's just something we'll just have to deal with. It is what it is.
Okay. Sorry.
Let me tell you, Anthony. Like I'm very sensitive to hearing, so like I hear.
I'll turn your mic down on the stream, so hopefully we don't have to deal with too much.
But like sometimes I hear things that like nobody that not that nobody else hears, but it's like a minuscule sound that like most
Yeah.
people don't notice.
Yeah. And then you try to find the pitch because you're a music student.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no. It's like I love the. There is an actual technique that's it's not perfect pitch, but it's not relative pitch. It's not perfect pitch. There's a video of a saxophonist on YouTube describing it, and basically what you do is you compare the pitch to the timbre of your own instrument. And you imagine your instrument playing that pitch, and you sort of figure out what timbre that is, and you just sort of are like, okay, I'm imagining a clarinet play this note, and it's like, okay, let me get so like. And like, there's certain notes that have very specific timbres on clarinet because it's a relatively consistent instrument, but like an E flat on the second staff is very distinct, or like a C sharp, or like an open G, or I don't know, notes that you often tune with too are another one that's like it's
Yeah.
those are easy to find, but I've found that I haven't gotten too good at that technique. I haven't really been trained on it. I just sort of saw the video. But I've it's gotten me close before. I usually get pretty close. It's just I'm usually like a step or two off. It's gotten me at least a starting point. So I don't know. I think that stuff's really cool.
Yeah, it was weird. One time I listened to the radio, and I was backing out of the driveway. You know, I was in my car backing out of the driveway, and I heard a pitch in the song that sounded like the same pitch that like a lot of cars their horn,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You
yeah,
know, when they
yeah,
honk the horn.
yeah,
And I was like, oh my God, is there a car there?
yeah, yeah,
No, no, what the? That was the song.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. That's some clusters right there.
it's a,
That's some
it's a,
Jacob Collier type stuff right there. Go ahead.
I know,
Yeah.
but with that in mind, you know, I was talking with Professor Samani on this podcast earlier last week, and it was it was crazy how like there are only 12 notes in our
Mm-hmm.
lexicon, in our musical lexicon, that is, and in our chromatic scale, and
Yeah. There you go.
but there's still an infinite amount of variations that
Mm,
can be made,
mm,
and I think that's incredibly fascinating. This shows you how music looks simple, but is actually very complex. Even
yeah.
though there are those simple things that you hear, you'd be surprised how many popular songs use C major. So common, dude.
Yeah.
But it's still very complex. The variations that
Yeah.
composers and arrangers have. It's very fascinating.
Yeah. There's a video. The title is escaping me, but by a YouTuber called Adam Neely. He researched another uh there was a project that a group of like lawyers and musicians came together and did, and they they basically they said, okay, we're gonna take like the six notes in the chromatics, like all the notes in the chromatic scale, and then we're gonna do a certain amount of rhythms and a certain amount of this and that, and just create a database of them and then copyright it. So what they did for that was, the idea is that you have all these issues nowadays with copywriting music, and so much like, oh my god, like there's so much issue about like what parts of songs you can own, what parts, like can you own a key signature, can you own a bass line, can you own a particular style of music, like, and there's all sorts of stuff with that. But the idea of this project was to say, okay, we're going to create a certain amount of melodies and copyright them to show that none of you guys know what you're talking about, that you can't own a melody, you can't own a particular set of notes, or if I can, then I'm just going to go ahead and own all of them, so that it was just sort of an exercise to show how insignificant some similarities like that are, because you can just, it's just mathematical. It's just mathematical equation that you're bound to find the same melody eventually. there's only so many melodies, so you can't really have copyright. At least that's the argument that they're trying to make by doing this exercise.
Yeah, and I think that's just something that's really cool. It's just, I mean, that's why we love music, right? That's why we talk about music every week on Maniacal Melodies. Is it's just super special. It's fun to talk about. Any other cool things happen?
I don't know. I've kind
I don't
of.
know. Maybe your girlfriend did something cool musically or whatever.
Oh, I should have I was going to collaborate with her, but I completely forgot the entire time I was there. Yeah. No, my girlfriend actually makes gorgeous music. I really think she writes songs, and I've always been like, this stuff is gorgeous. You got to let me work with you on this stuff. I think that would be really cool. Is like, I've always wanted to do stuff like that, and she makes such beautiful stuff, and she has such a beautiful voice, and she's a great guitar player. So it's just like, I've always been like, let me add a little clarinet spice here and there, because it works with some of her stuff, and we've done a little bit here and there. But we had something set out like a few months before I ended up coming out there, and then by the time I got out there, I completely forgot about it, and I only realized when I got back, and I was like, I mean, like, I don't know. Part of me is like, yeah, it would have been cool, but like at the same time, you know what? I plan on seeing her a few more times in my life, so I'm sure at some point we'll end up doing it.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, again, she does live out there, and I don't live out there, unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's fine. For me at least, there's no point in stressing about it. I'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, and yeah, it's really cool. For me, I mentioned band, practicing clarinet again. Practicing for the audition. It's gonna be very weird recording it on video. Just a video of me and my clarinet playing. Okay, it's gonna be a little weird, but I've been doing this podcast, doing a lot of cool things, and yeah, because it's weird, dude. It's weird because like none of the bands I was in, obviously most of the bands I was in was at U of A, and obviously I'm not there anymore. Mm-hmm. But the community wind ensemble I'm in is also not, is also like we don't have a season this year, and it sucks. Yeah. It really does. And I just kind of had this eureka moment like a week and a half ago. I'm just like, oh golly gee, I haven't played clarinet in a while. What's wrong with me? Yeah. Because I think what happened was I was, again, like I mentioned earlier, I was just so disappointed and just frustrated with what happened last spring that I just stopped playing. Yeah. And I realized, oh, I miss this. I miss playing clarinet because, I mean, I think playing clarinet, I enjoy playing clarinet more than piano. It feels more real to me. Yeah. It feels like I'm working at it, you know. Yeah. But it's even more impactful when I'm playing in a band with other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something I really miss. I miss playing music with other people. And I've been wondering, why have I been, going through all this weirdness? Why does my life feel off? And it's because that's one of the reasons is because I haven't played music with people in band and whatnot. Yeah. But that's why I'm auditioning for this concert band, and that's why I'm just like really excited for it. Even if it's virtual, I'm still playing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something I'm incredibly excited about. And yeah, other than that, I guess there's not much to say. I have a week and a half. I have a week and a half until orientation for the grad school program.
I move in less than a week from now. I'm gonna be in Tucson, living in my dorm in like 5 days.
During frickin' COVID.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's even if that wasn't happening.
What if they just? I will feel so bad, dude. If you live in the dorm for like a month, and then because there's like a big old outbreak at U of A, they just tell you all to go home again. Yeah. That would suck.
My girlfriend is convinced that's going to happen.
Yeah.
She's like, absolutely convinced.
This is, at least for me, I know, for sure, school's online. I can stay in Arizona, right? Yeah. Part of me is just like wondering, like, why are you moving into a dorm? if you would like to, if you want to say so
Well,
on here.
I have been grappling with this decision for a while now. Basically what it came down to was it really was a decision while I was out there. It was like, I don't know, it became, where am I going to be the most successful? Which is, again, what it ultimately came down to was that. And I said, okay, because it still is a very rough decision, but it's one of those things is like, it was hard enough justifying, because again, if I stayed anywhere, I probably would have ended up staying at my girlfriend's house in New Jersey and doing school from there, just because I had such a rough time when I was here last time. It just was really rough for me, and it's gonna be rough for me now because I'm still not gonna have my girlfriend. But I just sort of said, you know what, I couldn't say no to marching band. I really couldn't. I just said, as much as I'm scared about the practice room situation and I'm worried about that, I just said, you know what, I can't say no to marching band. I really just couldn't. And it really hurts to basically choose marching band over my girlfriend. But she understands. She gets it. And it wasn't, I don't even think she viewed it as that. I just felt more comfortable out in Tucson. Like, I think that was the other thing too that was so different between her experience and my experiences. I absolutely loved dorm life. I loved living in my dorm. Because I was living with my best friend. And at the time Serene was there too, and I was like, it was the best. And I think even with Serene out of the picture, it's still, I love just the independence. It's the perfect amount of independence for me. It's the perfect amount of, I can go off and do whatever the heck I want. I can leave at any hour of the day. I functioned so well, and I was able to make such a good structure for myself while I was down there because I had no distractions. All I had to worry about was my classes and figuring out what I was gonna eat and that sort of thing. Which I do get a lot of that here. Here I do live pretty independently at my house with my parents, but it's still just another thing I have to worry about, you know? It's just another thing that I have to be concerned about.
Oh no, I get it. No, yeah. I get it. It's like one of those things in quarantine, like, you know, if you stay with your parents long enough, you just get tired of them, especially at this age. Yeah. You know, at this time of our lives.
And it's the sort of thing where
I understand that feeling.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's not even like you just don't want to talk to anybody. There's certain parts of the day where you want to just go into the kitchen in the middle of the day, freaking sit down and make a grilled cheese or whatever the heck, and just not have to talk to anybody. And just keep your headphones on. No one tries to start a conversation with you or anything like that. And it's just like, I can't really do that here, or at least that's not a guarantee here. But the thing I love about being in a dorm is you don't have to, especially for me I'm not a super like chatty sort of social person. I like initiating. If I feel like initiating conversation, I'll initiate a conversation. But I don't like people initiating conversations with me. At a lot of times. Sometimes in public I'm okay with it, but like, I don't know. If I'm in my own house, I just kind of like, if I want to talk to you, I'm gonna talk to you, like that sort of thing.
So with that said, let's move on to the musical rabbit hole segment.
Yes.
So this is the segment of Maniacal Melodies, where we talk about some of our favorite pieces of music that we've been listening to, and we talk about, Anthony and I each pick one drum corps performance that we talk about, and I am incredibly excited for this segment. It's been a while I cannot talk tonight. It's been a while since we've had this segment. I'm super excited. So I want to talk just a little bit about what I brought. So I brought the Academy show, the 2016 show. I believe it's called Corpse Bride. Is that right?
Drum Corpse Bride.
I believe you're very.
The pun is Drum Corpse Bride because drum corps the activity is spelled corpse, so that's the pun there with Corpse Bride the movie.
Drum Corpse, dude.
which the announcers did actually make a pun with. I think at semifinals they said Drum Corps International is proud to present, which was really funny.
No.
Yeah. That's probably that's probably my second favorite favorite like announcer moment. Another one I think is back last year when sorry to interrupt you, but back at last year when Blue Devils and Blue Coats were like neck and neck the entire season. Like, I don't remember if it was championships or like semifinals. Like towards the end of the season, the announcer would just say, in second place, Blue, and just let it ring for a while just to mess with us. And I was just, oh, that was so cool. I was just like, I hate you, but I love you for doing that. That's so funny. Go ahead.
What if he just said, Blue, go Core?
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
No, but yeah, I love the show design of this. They used some fancy props for this, and like they had like these fancy costumes, especially of the bride and of the groom, and it was incredibly fascinating. I believe it was a color guard member who was the bride. Is that right?
Yeah. It was all done through guard members, all the characters, and I think what's interesting about this show is it's very. And it appeals very much to a marching band style audience because it's built like a really good marching band show. Like there's not too much weird stuff here and there. There's not too much like overly like harsh music. It's very digestible. And but it still packs any punch you could. It still has everything that I love about drum corps. It has a gorgeous flugelhorn solo. It has all these really cool drill moments. My favorite part of the show, I just want to say, I think I might have even mentioned this on a previous episode, was the, oh god, it was towards the end of the opener, they go into this heart shape and they just completely swell into this just gorgeous. I think it was either because most of the music of this is either like funeral marches or music from Drum Corps Bride, and it was just this gorgeous just explosion of just everything. And in the beginning is so understated, and it takes so long for them to truly build, and they have so much little things before then, and then they just really just let you have it. And it was so cool. And now looking back on it, it's funny because it's like, this is one of the only shows where I actually know someone who marched in it. I knew a baritone player that marched in the show, and I know a few baritone players that were in academy. So, but I only knew one that marched this show, and that was his first year. And I was like, now I look back at that, and I was like, oh, I knew someone that marched this absolutely legendary show. And I mean, for the history of the academy, it's just such a big deal because this was the first show they made finals with, and it is the show that everyone knows for.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so special about this. I honestly, like, I knew people who performed in academy, and I didn't think it was this fancy.
Yeah.
But looking at this show, like, wow, the set design is pretty superb. Yeah. I'm very impressed by it, and just it's more. And I love marching band shows that do this, man. When it's more than just the marching and the band. When it's like dancing. When the marching band, when the wind performers, or the wind players, that's the phrase. When they're actually dancing, doing the choreography, and I always thought that was really cool. And I say shout out to the percussion, like using tombstones.
Yeah, the xylophones on the chest. That's a really cool moment. I think that and the flugelhorn solo are what people remember a lot from it. The closer also is just brilliantly written. It's so, and again, it's the show that everyone knows Academy for, and I think that's such a cool way to do it. It was one of those shows that throughout that season everyone was rooting for. It was a total fan favorite show. It was just, and I'm just so happy, and it's really cemented among like the like YouTube drum corps community, despite the fact that like there's like a whole bunch of covers of it and all this sort of stuff. Despite the fact that it's from a non-major corps, it's from a smaller world-class corps. Like, it's probably the most prominent like show from a non-major core in the like modern era, honestly, because there's a specific YouTuber I'm thinking of that does a lot of covers of drum corps stuff, and he did the ballad from Drum Corps Bride, and I'm just sort of thinking about his library. I think he's only done other stuff from corps that have either won a championship or have gotten really close and have always sort of been in the contention. It's like that's the smallest corps he's ever done one of those videos for. That just shows you how big this show was and how many people it touched.
Yeah, and I think that's always the goal. Whenever you make any sort of music or musical show, the goal is to captivate the audience, to touch their hearts and souls.
Yeah.
And I think this show did it very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, what show did you bring today?
I was under the impression that we were talking about Hamilton today, so I was unable to bring a show. But one other, I guess I could talk more about drum corps if that's that could be my thing. I actually discovered a drum corps podcast, and an actually good one this time. It's actually run by three guys. Two of a percussionist and two trumpet players. The percussionist and the older trumpet player Mark just aged out with the Blue Devils this past year, and then the third trumpet player is still marching in the Blue Devils. And both the trumpet players marched in the Bluecoats back when they won the championships in 2016. So they have a really interesting, I think they have a really interesting perspective because they marched with a corps that the community loves and specifically a show that the community loves, and now they're members of the Blue Devils, which generally the community is either love them or you hate them sort of thing. And it's interesting for them to talk about, like, because I remember one of the first episodes they did is they do reaction videos for certain shows and stuff, and I was like, one of the first things they reacted to was the most recent Bluecoats show, and that was mostly most of the guys, that was their age out year that they barely beat the Bluecoats with, and there's all this talk about the community that the Bluecoats should have won, and just to hear their sort of 2 cents on it from coming from people that marched both corps and was in the Blue Devils that year, and they were just like, one of the things they talked about, that was my segue here, is they talked about this distinction between the philosophies of the drum corps, and it's very much for the Bluecoats it's audience first, and for the Blue Devils it's judges first. They both care about both things, obviously they both want to do that, but for the Blue Devils it's like, what can we do to show the judges that we are innovating and we're creating stuff and we're adding to the activity even more than we did the previous year, and just keep pushing the envelope and keep pushing that more. And honestly, I think I need to give their show a bit more of an in-depth listen, because I think it is a bit more sophisticated than I initially saw it on face value, because they described a lot of it as like, if you don't understand this one thing about the show, you're not going to get any of it. And I didn't understand that thing, so it makes sense. But it was really interesting to hear them talk about that. As like, yeah, I'm not saying, they were saying like, yeah, the Bluecoats don't want to lose. It's not like they don't care about winning. It's just they care so much about really playing to the audience and really getting them going. That's where they do their best. It's just at least in their opinions, the reason they didn't end up pushing it was they didn't quite push the activity as much as they had in years past. Is they had all the talent, they had all the performance, their show, it was the Beatles show that they ended up doing, and it was being successful with pop music. That was the thing that they were going to try to bring to the activity, but that wasn't quite up to par with what the Blue Devils were bringing as far as like new stuff, at least in their opinion. Again, they're not judges, but that was their perspective, having most of them marched in both corps. I just thought that was really, really cool, and I want to shout them out. Let me go. You go talk for a second. I want to shout those guys out because I think they're really cool.
Yeah, I just think that's incredible. And there's something transformative about the power of drum corps, because a lot of people that we know in the Fred Fox School of Music, that they have played in drum corps, and I remember a lot of them were very distraught earlier this year when DCI canceled their season this year. So it's incredibly exciting. That's why I love this segment, right?
Yeah.
Because we get to just celebrate marching bands, celebrate drum corps, and I think that's really special.
Yeah. No, I really do like that. Funliner Productions. So Funliner. They had a podcast episode come up today, but they also have reaction videos for stuff. So they reacted to Blue Coats 2016, Blue Coats 2019. They did Babylon. So yeah, no, I think that's kind of the soaked in experience with drum corps versus
dude,
not experience in drum corps.
You ought to invite him on Maniacal Melodies, dude.
Well, I'll do my best. Maybe we could go on their podcast. Who knows? We'll see.
But yeah, is that all you wanted to say about that show?
Yeah, no, yeah, that was good.
So now it's time. Yeah, now it's time to go to the next segment. I'm super excited. You know I love this segment. It is time for the hype factor. It's the hype factor, okay? And this is where we talk about what we are most excited about. And you know I'm all about the hype. You know this means a lot to me. And honestly, oh man, there are too many, it's been a weird, wacky summer for me. A lot of sad stuff, a lot of happy stuff, but there are a lot of things to be excited for the future. And for me, honestly, it's just doing that gosh darn audition.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so the audition for CSUN's concert bands, and that's due in in 9 days, I believe. So in just over a week. Kind of nerve-wracking, but kind of exciting too. And I can't believe I didn't even think about this until like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Oh yeah, I love band.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of shows you how much COVID-19 has dragged me down. But I'm incredibly excited for, even if I don't make it into a band. I hope to make it in. I'd be incredibly excited just to play in a mini band and see what happens, and just find out, okay, how will it be playing the clarinet virtually? That'll be interesting. Huh? And so, yeah, that's my hype factor, and it's coming real close, dude. I'm so excited to start grad school. We're so close, dude. So excited. Anthony, what's your hype factor?
Yeah, I would say I guess mine would be to finally move in and just sort of I don't know. I guess I'm just ready to just get in my dorm and then be incredibly bored for like 10 days because I get there on the 14th, but school doesn't start till the 24th. I get there on the 15th, but school doesn't start till like the 24th. So do
you still have band camp, or how's that going to work?
It's all virtual, and for the most part, it seems like it's mostly going to be like the not fun parts of band camp, like handbook stuff and like, I mean, I do love the emphasis that we put on like culture, and that's what makes the Pride so great, and that is stuff that has to get done and has to be done. I love the fact that we do it, but it's not something that I look forward to because it's not playing my instrument. It's not this and that. So, but I mean, you get what you get. At least I'm getting something this year. There's a lot of people that aren't getting anything, so I at least have that to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, CSUN doesn't even have a marching band, so
yeah.
Honestly, I wasn't thinking about marching.
Yeah.
I always preferred concert band, and I have too much life stuff to worry about.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
So much uncertainty with things right now. It's like, dude, like, have you seen the job market? Gross stuff. But yeah, this is Maniacal Melodies. That's what this podcast is. Dude, so next week's episode is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about Hamilton.
Dude,
oh my god.
I'm so excited, dude. I watched Hamilton last night with my family.
Oh.
And I loved it so much, and that's all I'm going to say on this podcast about that, because we're going to talk more next Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, live on channel 1138.
Oh,
and we're going to talk about Hamilton, and I know it sounds like you love it too.
It is. I will tell you this. I think we discussed this in a previous podcast. It's very hard for me to say I have a favorite of anything because I'm such a perfectionist, and it's hard for me to stand by a product so much that I can say it's my favorite. the Hamilton movie on Disney Plus is my favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
And I can definitively say that because because I have never watched something as much as that, and I've never like watched a movie and been like, I could watch that 5 more times and I probably wouldn't get bored, like back to back to back. Like, and I'm honestly I was very close to doing that on the way back to Arizona on the flight. I listened to it once. But I wanted to listen to Lin-Manuel Miranda's other his other musical In the Heights, which is also very good. Not as good as Hamilton, but the second track on In the Heights is absolutely gorgeous, and it makes me cry every time. Okay, enough about Lin-Manuel Miranda. Enough about In the Heights. Enough about Hamilton. That will be saved for next week.
Oh yeah, and if you are unable to listen to it on Sunday nights, that's okay, because we'll have the episode up as every episode is up on channel1138.com/Maniacal Melodies, and that's where you can find this episode, previous episodes, all my interviews, Maniacal Melodies interviews, and our awesome Hamilton episode, which will premiere on August 16th. And but yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, we broadcast live on Mixlr, on channel1138.com, and channel 1138 YouTube channel.
Yeah, and the VOD for this should be posted to the 1138 YouTube channel, as long as we don't get yelled at by 1138 for having that on there. That should be on there.
Hey, I got approval.
Okay.
I asked.
Okay.
I asked if we could stream. I didn't go into this blind, dude.
Okay, but he didn't say anything about VOD, but we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, Maniacal Melodies. If you want updates on these archive episodes, and who knows, I might post other unique things on there. I'm not sure. Who knows what's going to happen? But follow us on there at Maniacal Melodies, and follow us on Twitter at Maniacal Melody, where I also post updates about this awesome podcast. And yeah, follow me personally, Jeffrey. Follow me on Twitter at Hype Function, where I retweet Star Wars stuff, superhero film stuff, video game stuff, and I talk about all my podcasts, Maniacal Melodies and Hype Function. And you can check out my website at jeffreymusic.com. That's JEFFERY. And to want to learn more about me and what I do and what I have done and all that fun stuff. Where can we follow you, Anthony? You can follow me at AnthonyPerkins83 on Instagram. One day I will make another post on that account. I promise. I think about it constantly. I'm such a perfectionist with my stuff. It's really hard for me to just be like, okay, I'm going to post this. But between all my moving stuff, between now having piano and just having weird, crazy chord ideas on that, and the other 3 instruments that I'm going to have to bring to campus because I'll find something to post. So, yeah. Yeah, just follow him on there and just check us out there and on that. Oh, and I should say this, I'm recording a new episode of Hype Function this Saturday night, August 15th, with Intergalactic Peace Coalition host Zach Arnold. For the first time in over a year, I'm having Zach back on Hype Function, and I'm incredibly excited. And I am working on more interviews. Check out the interview with Andrew Sermani, who is the academic head of the Music Industry Administration grad school program at CSUN. That's the program I'm in. So, and he's done many things in the music industry. Dude, he worked at Alfred Music for 29 years. Wow, yeah. And that music that makes all that concert band and marching band music, other than Howlander. But yeah, very incredible. We had a fun discussion talking about the music industry, about what's going on, more about the grad school program. That's pretty cool, to see what we're doing with that. And yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. Do you have anything left to say before we go? Also, I might have Chris on next week's episode. We'll see. Chris Cooey, my roommate. Maybe. I know. We've had him on this podcast before. Absolutely. Yeah. I hope that works out. Hopefully. Hope he watch it. Hope you finally get him to watch it. He'll be in the room. So I mean, I'm gonna get him to watch it as soon as possible. So and at least, dude, you with Hamilton is like me with Star Wars. Oh, so no matter how many times you watch it, you just love it every time. Yeah. No, yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later, man. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Stay hyped, everybody.
Ugh.
That was a weird ending.
That was. I don't know why I said that. I'm really sorry.
You
We also.
sounded like you were about to leave the Skype call and say bye to me.
We're also not. We're also still live. So let me get us offline.
Oh, that's okay. Get some cool behind the scenes stuff onto YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, YouTube.